I love that. I
I
love
know
that
it's fun.
music.
I
It's
always
so
get
good.
like, oh, we
So was
wait.
I. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I've got my dancer top on today. Look, we've
Didn't
jinxed
have it.
again.
And
We've jinxed
again, it
again.
wasn't planned. We look, we're matching with the colors. I love it.
Oh my
Hi, Nupi.
goodness.
Good morning.
Hi. Hi. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning. Well, we are just so excited. For those that don't know us, I'll briefly introduce myself, the Nupi. I'm Diana Londoño. I'm a urologist in Los Angeles. I am the founder of Physician Coach Support, which is a free and confidential peer-led platform where one-on-one you can get support by a colleague who's also a life coach. So we are here for you to support you. And Nupi, tell us where you are and who you are.
Thank you. So I am Nupi, Dr. Aurora. I am the glitter practitioner, and I'm in Didsbury, in Manchester, sorry, in the UK. And I'm a general practitioner, so a family physician. I'm also a spiritual and transformation life coach. And I have been on LinkedIn, what, 5 months, something like that. And I am all about spreading the glitter and helping people to find their physessence again and radiate their light. The coaching program that I'm also doing at the minute is Find Your Fizz and Flourish, which is supporting and helping female professionals, physicians who've really lost who they are and just finding themselves again. That's what I'm doing.
Yes, I love it. Rediscover that light,
Yeah,
that shine in their eyes.
the
So
glitter.
with your
Yeah,
effortless, which I know,
yeah.
we share throughout. It's amazing. Well, today
Thank you.
it's such an amazing, fun episode because we're talking about, movement, and we are the physicians in motion. And I have just such a lovely, lovely friend and colleague, Dr. Niraj Mehta. He is the founder of Making Moves Universal. And this is just an amazing international program about movement. And here he combines spirit and mindful movement and music really to improve the lives of people with chronic illness and his cancer patients. He's a radiation oncologist. And he really tries to bring in that mental, that emotional, that spiritual and psychosocial component. And his goal is really to create an aura of love, of belonging, of purpose. I mean, this is like, oh, it's just music to my ears because it really chills, what he
Yeah.
has been able to do, combining just the benefits of movement, because it will cause, it'll allow for stress reduction. And it's been proven in science by psychoneuroimmunology, which is amazing. He trained at UCLA. He was 1 year below me at UCLA. He's recipient of multiple awards, including the American College of Radiation Oncology Fellowship Award, where he was really honored for fostering that global perspective in oncology. He's worked in Brazil. I mean, I don't know how many languages he knows now. He'll have to tell us. He speaks fluent and writes, Portuguese, Spanish, English, Hindi. I mean, it's amazing, like the languages that he speaks. And he is involved in many research, programs, and doing a lot of, great technology with radiation oncology. He did that fellowship there, also UCLA. Not only is he good in, the medical side and the movement, he's also been on Prime, Amazon Prime. He did a documentary called The Power of Movement, which is amazing. It came out in 2020 and is really talking about the movement and the evidence-based framework of combining this into clinical medicine, which is what he did with Making Moves Universal, bringing it to his patients. He's also been in Netflix in season 2 in Indian Matchmaking, which, it's a huge show. And right now, he's going to talk to us too about what he's working on right now, which is a functional fitness program called E10 that is being designed in Latin America to combine movement and engage locally and globally. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's just like amazing what he does. He's really been my inspiration for movement, not only about the body, but, mind and
Yeah.
spiritual. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited to bring him on. So
Let's bring him on. Let's bring him on.
come on, Rush. There he is.
Hey,
Amazing.
Welcome. Welcome to our show, Supernova Sisters, Physicians in
I love
Motion.
it. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, we're so excited, Rush, because like I mentioned in the intro, you really have been an inspiration for me and for so many. I mean, I just was at your 40th birthday, and so many people were talking and saying speeches about you, roasting you, but talking about how you have impacted them as friends and family, but also patients and just really globally your impact. So, we've talked about movement before, but I really want people to know more about, making moves universal. I really always ask you what started first. Did you find movement or did it find you? But tell us about, making moves and how then that has progressed. And, obviously you're now doing a lot more things, with Latin America, but tell us about it because it's so beautiful.
Thanks. No, no, I mean, it's such an honor to kind of come here today to talk about it in a sense, because sometimes when you have a project or something that's dear to you, you sort of realize what it is to you as things evolve, and really, I think the journey of making moves has really been a reflection of sort of my own sort of journey, and I've always had a passion for movement and music, and I use movement and music, and I don't use the word dance because if I go back to my earliest memories of movement, there was like these sort of classic musicals you saw on screen. And some of them were based off like the Bollywood or Indian culture where they had a playback singer and a guy just
Yes.
jumped up
Yeah.
and made a move, and that's what it was, right? And all of a sudden it was like, wow, this looks cool. This is what it arrived. So to me, I didn't really see like the actual technical aspect of like dance per se until much later, and so I really didn't know what it would be, what it would mean to be inseparable from like the music, in a sense. So that's how it started, and sort of I've always had that passion. One thing leads to the next. You learn, a bunch of different styles and sort of music through movement, through languages, right? So languages, or learning a language was like why I learned the language, right? So I was really inspired through this type of movement, and it kind of helped me kind of put that together. And so when I came here to Miami, a friend of mine was like, you're doing all this stuff and passion. Why don't you just start take some time and just go start. He said, go start dancing with your patients, and that's exactly what we did. And then one Saturday a
Amazing.
month we got together, and I never set out to be an instructor per se, but we just got together. We used to play a bunch of sort of international songs, everything from like country to samba to bachata to to hip hop to house, everything, and then just kind of go through them and then move them. Then I felt like at that point it was a really really good opportunity to then broach the topics of however you want to describe it, right? All these semantics: mind body medicine, functional medicine, holistic perspective, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and relationships, like however you want to do it and however you want to platform it. I think there's a lot of density, but yet at the end of the day, it's a very simple concept because instead of trying to make changes per se, we just sort of make one move here and there, and we watch how
Yeah.
then that affects us, and then we can kind of place it back into our whole spectrum of well-being,
Yeah.
and so that's how making moves
Amazing.
sort of evolved. We did some work in the clinic, and now I think what I'm trying to do is work through the movement angle. And there's that organization called E10. As a matter of fact, they kind of work out downstairs right here, and that would actually. And he had this idea of getting people together, kind of training. He's actually a DJ, so he uses music, and then it kind of opens up that sort of emotional connection, community connection type concept. And so that way now you have something that's already set. It's very tangible for people. At the end of the day, there's, when we're not familiar with something, we're not familiar with it, it can become a little intimidating. And now you can kind of deconstruct the idea of dance, and with this whole sort of functional movement, which is actually a movement in and of itself, you're seeing like, oh my God, it's like kind of like a Mr. Miyagi, right? Like wax on, wax off type thing, right? I mean, our society doesn't take things on the nose anymore. Like I can tell you, I used to talk like that. I still talk like
Yeah.
that. I used to talk about, and I'm a philosophical guy. I love it. I love living in this existential restlessness. But that's not something that the vast majority of people are like, Raj, I don't really know what you're talking about. But when they see something, when they feel something,
Yes.
then they know that we're talking about it, right? And I always tell people, like,
Yeah.
you want to get into these conversations. I want you to sweat with someone or have move with someone for 40 minutes, and then after that, try to find differences with that other person. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're both gonna be like, yeah, wow, that was cool, this and that, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
all these other things kind of. So anything that gets you out of, I don't want to say get you out of your mind, even though that's what I mean. Anything that gets you out of your own sort of neurosis or your own sort of like things, and we all know what we're talking about, our own kind of psychological circles. Anything that will get you out of that really puts you in a place to then now be impacted by all the different moves and options around you. And then at the end of the day, you just pick one. And so that's really the idea. Yeah.
I love it.
It's like flow. It's flow. It's connection.
Yeah.
And what you said
Definitely.
earlier actually is it's about community, isn't it? And you know, it's the things that combine you. It's the music. It's the beat. I'm obsessed with drum beats and bongo
Yes.
beats, basically.
Oh,
And
nice.
it literally, I can feel it. I can feel it in my soul,
Right.
and I can't stop moving. But then it's the emotion which comes through, and you have that shared experience with somebody else. Oh my God.
Yep.
That
Yep.
it's basic, isn't it? It's your basic human needs again.
It's basic human needs.
That's what it boils down to.
We've seen these cycles before, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I bet you a lot of people don't know, perhaps, that actually in LA is when it started. It is in the 70s and almost, I think, no, maybe in the 80s or 90s. The whole rave culture. I say the word rave, that's why semantics is so funny. Everyone's like, oh my God, they have this vision. As a matter of fact, the entire rave concept was developed. A lot of, quote unquote professionals used to go to these, kind of raves where everyone felt like the sound was so powerful and no one had to like do something right, and you could say the word rave kind of implies all this other stuff that may not have anything to do with it, but it's exactly what you said. It's like people felt like they were one. Yeah, they were together. And so we've seen these things kind of come and cycle through. But obviously some things lose attention and sometimes they kind of come back in another cycle,
I love that what you said at the beginning, and you really were the one that taught me, and I think it's such an important thing you taught me, in the difference of dance and movement. Because like, oh yeah, let's dance, and you're like, it's not about the dance, it's the moves. And it's so powerful, like the distinction that you taught me, because people get caught up in their own, again, like I said, neurosis or things or judgment, because I don't dance, I don't know how to do this step, this samba, this whatever. And it's not truly, like what you taught me, it's not about the dance, it's about the moves and how you feel. And it doesn't matter that you don't know the steps. Sure, you can learn and perfect it, and that could be a whole nother conversation, but you are just flowing, you're connecting. And after you do that, for 40 minutes and now with a group of people, or even by yourself, like in your bedroom, you're just in a different state. And you are connecting, and all those barriers of like, oh, I want that and I don't care, and all the stuff that you had, like, it just disappears, it melts away, and you really are doing, it's a meditative state. It's like you get rid of all these worries about the past and the future, and you're just in the moment of like, maybe trying to catch up with the moves, but just flowing and seeing where does your body take you, where are you moving. And I just love that distinction, and you really taught me that. And I think there's so much value, because when we invite, we do these dance movement videos, and I invite physicians, like, oh, I don't know how to. I'm like, it's not about knowing. Nobody knows. We just go with the flow and see what happens. It's about being free and really connecting to that creativity part of you, that source. I think it really is a spiritual experience to me. Like, you're just connecting with that creation and with the beats and with the frequency, whether of the music or each other. So I love that you said that. That was so important to me when you taught me that.
Oh man, that's a privilege to even say I didn't taught you anything, because I don't really feel like I'm doing that. But sometimes, just to maybe add to that, for some people that might say, well, I don't really know, then that's where you're like, well, we find your move. You find something that you've been doing already, and that's why I'm a big. If you're going to pick something and any kind of like a functional program, and some people already have it built into them, and then you find that move. And to be honest, if you look at anybody that's actually looking at you, they don't care about how the move is done. They want to know how you do it, right? Like, if you think about any famous or whatever you want to say, actor, performer, entertainer, no one really cares that they dance. They care because that person was so comfortable in doing that one thing,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can just list off names after names after names. And yeah,
Yeah.
now you look at the image and the production, it looks like they're somehow dancing professionally, but I don't think it wasn't really derived from that. It was because
No.
they were that free with their movement, obviously, hashtag no
Exactly.
injuries, but they were that free with their movement that they were able to bring out, who they were on that spectrum.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that move probably shows as much as 100 words could say, right? So people kind
Yeah.
of get this idea, this feeling for that person, even without them saying anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's expression, isn't it? I know, I mean, I'm not choreography and learning movement steps. I'm rubbish. I'm quite clumsy in that sense. And I find it difficult to follow certain moves.
Yeah.
But you put some music on. It's like, oh my gosh, that film, Dirty Dancing, and Patrick Swayze says to Baby, feel the music. Do you remember that scene?
Right,
He's like
right,
going, feel the music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. That's exactly what makes me move, and I can feel it. And I
That's
just,
amazing.
I can't stop. And it's like, that character O from the Pixar or Disney film, and he's got those weird tentacle things, and he hears music, and then he just can't stop moving. Oh, that's what music is for me, and it's how you express it. And it's not because of the steps I do. It's certainly not because of, choreography. It's because I guess it's just, I think I'm just a free spirit, basically.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Really am.
I mean, clearly, I don't really have to explain anything when it comes to that. I mean, when it comes to someone like you, and that's pretty amazing that you're able to find that state. Sometimes I like to say for people that may or may not have that, they need instruction. Sometimes you just do some of these moves that you see in these functional classes. I'm like, hold on, you just do it. Let the music go. Now all of a sudden you'll find your body being able to coordinate it, kind of a thing. And the next thing you know, you string that together and it's like, well, what is that right there? Looks like a pretty darn good move to me. So
that's so good. That's amazing. That's so cool that, that's because Diana has obviously been telling me about these things that you've been doing. And, when it boils down to health, this is exactly it. It's about what we say and why we started this live stream in the first place. It's rediscovering your joy and really what lights you up.
It is. Wow,
and
that's a good point.
It's really about that, and movement, music. That's what lights your soul. You need to have fun. I mean, Diana.
I agree.
Well, because I'm remembering, really during COVID, which was, my darkest hours. But when I went through burnout number 2, and I was such a dark place, and I was wearing my crazy PPE gear, like crazy astronaut, and it was out of control and whatever. But I brought really movement to the operating room, and I would dance, whatever you want to call it, with our staff. Even when the height of COVID, when it was still pretty scary, and I had all my PPE, and I'm dancing with my PPE. But after we were done with our surgeries on Fridays, we would be like, okay, who wants to do some moves? And we put 2 songs, and just move to the music with my scrub techs and the packing nurse, the recovery nurse. And it really brought so much joy when we were like, I probably wasn't the most scared there, but, everybody was more relaxed. But I was like in such a state of fear during COVID.
Oh.
And it was a place to relax, to laugh. And I hadn't laughed in a long time when I was, during this whole, burnout and COVID. And to be able to laugh, make moves, rediscover, like you said, that joy that always had been with me of movement. And it was so fun. And then, we did that all the time on Fridays, and people look forward to it. And when I come on Fridays, it's like, oh, Dr. Londoño, what are you doing? They're looking for me because they need it. We need it. And it was healing for us. And it really started the process of me moving. Again, yes, my body, but moving my mind, moving my thoughts, really getting not just in the body, but in everything in sync and line, spiritually moving. Which again, it can be a catalyst. When the body moves, everything moves. So to me, it was, I used to laugh and send it to Niraj and be like, I'm the Making Moves ambassador. Here's my like little videos, and it was just such a joy for me that he gave me that gift of like almost permission, like, oh yeah, you go, girl,
Go
but
for it.
but it was amazing. And then of course, then we move it more and more, and the more you feel that joy, people always, when you're doing your movement, whether it's choreographed or not, people always say like, wow, like where's that joy? Because that joy is, you're rediscovering, like reconnecting to their source. So I just love, and again, I'm so grateful for Niraj for what he says. He doesn't even know he did for so many, but the impact of movement. Again, we're focusing on body, but I think it encompasses everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say the same, and it's also what we say, and what through the F list and through the work we do. It's really, you're uplifting, you're inspiring, you're empowering somebody else to go, oh my God, I think I can do that actually. And you're passing it on. And that's my favorite thing at the minute to say. I inspire, you uplift and empower somebody else. And I think that's the gift here. That's what you're passing on to somebody. And then they get into it, and then they're showing somebody else. It's the ripple effect.
That's the thing. That was the thing. And that's what I was going to ask Diana, not to put you on the spot, but I was going to say, it's not Diana. When doctors, sometimes we kind of potentially sell ourselves short because of the, let's just say, systematic, sort of constraints, and to some extent we just kind of, we make up stuff that may or may not be true, but it just kind of happens, right? But I would ask Diana, I was like, so what would you say? Like, of course, there are people that joined in and you can't make up the joy on their faces, but the fact that Dr. Londonio is sort of just getting down there, even if someone doesn't even join, how would you say that kind of impacted the kind of aura? I mean, what could you see? And again, feel free to float your own boat for a little bit, because I know that I could see through the faces that there was some sort of like a, it's like a big, like, these weights off people's shoulders where they can feel like, whoa, she's being herself and is free to express her joy. Why can't I? It has nothing to do with whether or not I want to get up and do it, but the fact that you're doing it probably helps. And of course, it's great when we all do it together, but I would imagine it probably impacted people that just kind of knew about it,
Yeah, I mean, that's lovely part about it. I mean, hopefully the part about it is like that is not because I'm a doctor, and like because we kind of are leaders, and I don't want
that's
people
what I meant.
You're a leader, then only you can do it. No, we all are leaders, no matter what your role and title is.
Yeah.
But yes, it gives permission. Even the people that didn't do it, like the Martha, Maria, like the clean ladies, they would not join sometimes, but they would like be joyful watching, or like I would make videotape. I was like, Maria, come videotape, and they would like have so much joy videotaping and watching it, and it's because it gives them permission to be unapologetic about finding joy and being joyful. And, when they know I'm coming on Fridays, they're always like, oh, they get a little like, a little peppy and excited.
Exactly.
And it just, they appreciate that Friday's gonna be a fun day, because most people by Friday are like, oh God, it's Friday. Like we're dragging because it's past the hump day, and it's TJF, we want to go home. And so do I. But at the same time, I'm there and I'm like, let's have a fun day today.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's going on. Yes, it's Friday. Yes, I won't call it whatever, but let's make it fun, and let's make moves here, and let's keep it light, and let's make jokes. And that's what I want my Friday to be. And people enjoy being in my room because we all, we have a lot of people sometimes in my room, 7 people, anesthesia and the tech.
Wow, that's amazing.
I love that.
Because that's what it's about.
Amazing.
Your F list is fun. We gotta keep it fun. We gotta flow, and giving them permission to like be silly, and like they don't have to make their moves and feel silly, but like, I'll do it so they can laugh, because they sometimes laugh. Sometimes I'll do it in the hallway, and I'll have my eyes closed. I'll be in this closed eye meditation movement.
That's funny.
And people were like walking by, and they're like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Don't worry, I can't see you, but I'm doing my meditation."
Nice.
They're like just like having a good time watching, and I was like, "I'm having a great time. I hope you are too."
Yeah.
So
I think that resonates with people, and that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter who you are. That's the whole point of this. It's the first F on my F list. Niraj, you probably don't know about this, but it's F off, which is you don't have to, you're bound by, or you think you're bound by certain rules, certain
Yeah.
regulations. And I'm like, well, says who? Says who? Find it within yourself, and it's about rebalancing all your needs. And when you're truly living to yourself, that's when you literally start radiating, and you can, and that's what people see, and they're like, oh, I want a bit of that. How did you do that? I don't know, I'm just being myself. And what you
Right.
said about Fun Day Friday, it's like, for me, through burnout, which was 12 years ago, I rediscovered my voice. I started singing again.
Wow.
So I sing. So in surgery, that's what my patients knew me for. They're like, oh, we love coming to your room, Dr. Rowe, because you're always singing and humming. And I'm like, oh gosh, was I singing just then? And they always know that that's what they can hear. And that's what I've started doing on LinkedIn, actually. I
love it.
just going,
I really won't jump to that boat because I'm not there yet. But your voice is really beautiful, and if you have it, and it's such a gift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Use the gifts that you have. I mean, I don't have the singing gift yet, but use what you have. Like, joyful and
makes me happy. Yeah,
it makes me happy because you're really good. Sing for us.
That's amazing.
What do you want me to sing? I can sing any chance. I'm not one of those people who goes, oh no, I can't. Or I might just
yeah. Let's
sure,
do it. Yeah. I love that.
She gets her hand sanitizer and then she starts singing. That's her microphone.
I love it.
I have it ready. Okay, here we go.
Nice. I love it. I mean, that means that you're always ready to infuse passion into your profession. And I think that's also what happens too, right? When we create these spaces, we can use a lot of words for them, but sometimes I call it like, it kind of like, even in the most intensive situations, human beings, we're not able to hold these negative kind of, it just falls under the water, and the water is like right here, and you're kind of just hanging in there, and it's just like submerged. And now you can be talking about something that's sad, but it's like no one really knows what's going on. You need to have that balance, I think, with being able to express your passion, and then it makes some of the moments where you have to kind of team up, it makes you a little bit more willing to kind of go there, because as human beings, we're not really that capable of like being so blah for so long before it just gets to us, right? And I think that
absolutely,
that's a simple expression, and it could be really anything, any kind of passion people have. If you can't bring it to the forefront to who you are on a daily, and if we dichotomize the profession passion thing too much, obviously it's just semantics, but we catch the drift. It can kind of gets isolating in our own head, and then in a sense, as leaders, you can sort of, everyone is like, oh, isolation is just the way to go. We just do our thing, So
I love that. It's so important about connection. And, yes, you're so philosophical. I mean, people just look at, the external package, the way you look. Obviously, they're like, woo, like Google Goggle. But you're such a deep person. And I think they do. They're like, woo.
That was funny.
Nice external, package. God gave you, nice.
I love it. Yeah.
But it's like we're not our external bodies and our eyes and our body and all that. We're so much deeper. And I think you embody that so much because, yes, people may just look on the outside, but like you're such a deep person. And I think I love how you said some people can't connect to like how philosophical you are, but they can connect to the movement. And then they are like, well, you're trying to express so eloquently with all these philosophical deep things. You do it with movement so beautifully, where other people, no matter where they are in their journey, of going into this deeper work, they connect with it just with the movement. And I think like that's amazing. I mean, you were able to do that and even express it now that's what it's about. It's so amazing. So I mean, Raj, what would you want to leave with people that are just starting their journey of movement, of we focus on the body, but like of any type of movement, whether it's a spiritual growth, a body, mental, that they feel kind of stuck, kind of like apathetic. How do you get them to take that next step, to just move along, since we are talking about movement?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take a page out of your book. I think what you just said right now is so critical, because sometimes we're like, it's hard for us to even subdivide, mental and emotional stasis from physical relationship and spiritual, right? It's all kind of combined, right? And so what happens a lot is, because there's a lot of things going on, sometimes people are just they don't know what to do. It's like almost you get stage fright from selection over so much selection, right? And so the bottom line is you just gotta, I think we all have to, if you feel that sort of stasis, right, just pick a move that's different, you know? It could be, and I'm just throwing stuff out there, it could be watching this podcast right now. I don't know once you watch this, what that's gonna make you do, but it could. And whatever that is, it's fine by me. It's movement, right? Like you and it could be doing the, I mean, I'm gonna use typical things, a Kundalini yoga session, you know, hanging out and listening to music with that friends, like, you know, you just pick one move, you do it differently, and then you just keep repeating it, and then you watch how that sort of changes you without trying to necessarily maybe do so many things at once. I mean, you can always, some people are like, you know, they're dietary people. They like to focus. They like organization. You like organization. Okay, let's go. Let's create your schedule. You like that? Let's do that. If you're more like, well, I don't know, I just want to, then you pick up one practice and you just kind of hear that person out, and then you kind of pick and choose, and you start sculpting away at your own sculpture. So you know that nobody is moving you in a particular direction. It's only for your own well-being. We're not here to tell you about, I mean, yes, we're going to advise you, but clearly, given the multifactorial nature of health, we're not necessarily in this space here to prescribe your exact thing, because that can make you feel very caged. But what we are here to tell you is that when you do make that move, it's clear that you're going to be empowered in a different way, no matter how many resources you are, because nobody is immune to the fundamental psychological challenges of humanity. Not one person. So at that point, it's very disarming. And I think we said that being disarmed is great, because otherwise we always feel like we're trying to get to this point of, you know, optimization, but that's not objective, you know, really. I mean, of course we can go into very, you know, deep spiritual places, but the point of being deep is to be light, right? It's deeper but lighter, right? Like we're not going deeper but heavier, deeper but lighter. So that's what I would say, Diana. And I think that you guys could clearly advise on, you know, so many different types of actions. But I think in an action-based society, it's probably best, okay, I would say one thing, it's probably best if someone's going through that to take an action, even if that is sitting in a space of stillness with someone else or with that extra thing, because we're human beings, man. I mean, we don't need to do certain things, you know? So until we make that move consistently with some sort of supervision, some group setting, it's kind of hard for us to like really convince ourselves that it's something that we need to do, because there's just so many options, you know? And if you're not struggling for food and water, the top of Maslow's hierarchy is self-actualization. Good luck. You know, there's no way to go but that kind of move laterally. You're not going up, you're going lateral at the top, right? So that's what I always tell people, because it's like, well, does this apply to me and there? And I'm like, listen, I mean, when your basic needs are taken care of, it's not that far. You're not gonna beat yourself, right? You can't get, you know, at the end of the day, however you want to look at it, it's just a collection of moments in which you can fairly assess how content you are with the present moment, right? So there's really nowhere else to go except laterally.
I was gonna say, you know, you can get bogged down with the whole, oh my gosh, what shall I do? Shall I do this or shall I do that? Oh, I don't know, I can't do it. Do one thing. Keep it simple. Break it down. If you do one thing, then you've made a tiny bit of a difference, and then it starts to become a little win-win habit, and then you feel better. You're going to do it again, and your health does rebalance, and that's the whole point.
Absolutely. And
do one thing.
Do one thing, you know, and it's hard to play a negative.
It's gone so quickly. I know, it's gone so quickly.
And it's hard to play a negative, right? You got to do something. People want to do, I shouldn't do this. I said, no. In the performance space, you can't play a negative, right? You can't avoid. I mean, it's like people want to focus on, oh, should I avoid this, avoid that? I'm like, no. Just like diet, right? This idea of cutting, add by sheer limitation of time bandwidth, something's going to have to fall. So don't worry about what's going to fall.
It's been amazing to have
Pleasure,
you on.
privilege, and honor.
So much. It's gone so quickly. I can't believe it. We absolutely love you to come on again.
Tell
everybody. Yeah. Go on,
how
Diana.
they can find you, because I know your movement is in TikTok and Instagram, which is Dr. Raj Moves. Is that correct? Is that
Yeah, Dr. Raj Moves. There's a website. I have an email address at nirajmetamd.com. And what I'm going to do is we're aggregating some email addresses, people that are interested, and we'll start doing online and live sessions. We're going to launch a sort of a systematic thing, and that way it'll be something routine. And I think pretty soon we'll have a physical space, obviously in Miami, but then also a virtual space. So, we'll start with just actually something you can tangibly just bite off. And usually that's pretty good. So you walk away learning something every single time, right? So we get out of like this behavior pattern and instead into like, all right, this is the move, lather, rinse, repeat.
Love it. Thank you so much. Seriously, don't go anywhere. We're going to close the show down and just stay in the green room, and we'll come back and come backstage and come and say hi. Thank you. Fantastic. Oh wow, so inspiring, Diana.
No,
it's making me want to move.
I know. So we gotta check out his space when he has it. So we like a global. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. So lovely.
I need that. I need song. I need movement. I need music. Now.
We'll get at the end. We'll get at the outro. So Nupi, where can they find you? Tell us for everybody before you go.
So you can find me every Monday on LinkedIn in my live stream show, Live with the Glitter Practitioner, which is at 8 p.m. BST, which is 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time. I love saying it like that. I can't help it. And also you will find me every other Tuesday with Diana on Supernova Sistas, Physicians in Motion. And I have a brand new live audio thingamy-bob starting called The Glitter Bug and the Ant. And that is it's every 4 weeks, basically, the fourth Tuesday of the month. And you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's it. Yes, the Glitter Practitioner, basically.
Love it. Well, yeah, thank you.
And Diana, yourself?
Yes. So you can also find me. All the replays are always on my YouTube channel, Diana Londoño MD. So subscribe, rate, review. We're also on Spotify, so find our podcast there. Also on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Diana Londoño MD. Check out some moves if you want to do some moves. Enjoy, have a little joy, laugh. We are so happy everybody was here. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you back in 2 weeks, every other Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, the Supernova Sisters.
Thank you for watching. Bye.